Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about makeup, chronic illness, and whatever I want, and today is my yearly to-do list. If you're new here, I don't make resolutions because there's nothing wrong with me that I need to resolve. I like to have a little to-do list of tasks or habits, hobbies, etc. that I would ideally like to accomplish, but I don't get too upset if I don't accomplish it because it's a to-do list, not a resolution. I like to recommend that to people because it feels far less daunting and there's not any kind of like guilt associated with it. So I do want to start by going over last year's list. That's what I usually do. Go through, tell you what I did, how I did, if I accomplished anything. All right, I'm gonna do my makeup like I usually do. As I do this, I will briefly like talk about, did those lights go out? I just tested those lights and they worked fine. I was gonna change the batteries, so we're gonna have a dark corner because I'm not gonna do it now. I'm priming with my usual Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum. I will also leave this stuff down below in case you care or are curious. So I do divide my goals into like little like subsections. So the first one was like home, and what was the first one? You know, before I get into that, I guess I should explain. Most of the stuff on my list from last year did not get done because the gluten challenge sucked up majority of my year. So I started out the year so sick to find out I had anemia, and I got iron infusions, which helped significantly. But I had to figure out the cause of said anemia. And let me zoom you in a bit more. It turned out to be a whole thing. So I was only supposed to eat gluten for a few weeks. It turned into a few months. It made me so sick, it took me a really long time to recover. I'm still not fully recovered. So a lot of this stuff just didn't happen because I was so horrifically sick. Like, I don't think I've ever been that sick in my entire life. So now we can get into it. The first one was stain the porch. I have to do this every couple of years because I live in a snowy place. So like the salt just degrades it. Like obviously when you have wood to stain, you have to reseal it every few years. We just have to do it a little more frequently because of where we live. First, I'm going to mix my 2 shades of NARS Complete Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I can never remember the name because it's kind of obnoxiously long. I just go in with like any kind of brush. The next one, I can't read this without my glasses. I'm literally Velma over here. Start a new flower bed along the garden. I also didn't do this and I'm not going to do it this year. So like I had just mentioned, I'm not fully healed from everything that I did this year. And we've had a fairly warm winter, which means we're going to have probably a hot summer that's gonna start earlier than normal. And I don't want to put pressure on myself to start and finish that project when it's quite literally not gonna go well for me. I didn't do a great job winterizing and like cleaning stuff up in the fall because I was still so sick from that whole experience. So any energy I have for outside, geez, I didn't know I had that. Hormones, I'm breaking out horrifically. I want to save any energy I have for finishing like just the normal tasks outside and not add anything on. So that'll probably be like a 2026 situation. Organize the filming room closet. No, that did not get done. I did declutter quite a bit in, that's the wrong cap. I'm glad you can't see what I'm doing. It's like one of those infomercials where I'm just doing ridiculously embarrassing things. So the closet itself is a complete disaster. But I feel like 99% of the stuff in it is stuff I want to do or want to keep. The problem in there is it doesn't have like accordion doors for the space. You would think it would have 2 doors or an accordion door or something, because it's like the door and 2 sides. So like you have these 2 almost like bookshelf looking spaces. Like you could fit bookcases in there. So you would just have dead space. And I have tried to figure out for a while, and what I need to do this year is actually figure out how to make that space useful. Because right now I try to just stack stuff. Like I have a shelf in the middle, and then I try to stack stuff on the sides, but then when you go to take something out, it all just falls and it just becomes this giant mess. And that's basically what has happened, is I have knocked a bunch of crap all over the place, and now it like tumbles out every time I open it. And it's not that I have more stuff than will fit in there. I'm cleaning this palette off. It's truly that there's no proper way to store things. I can't word today. I'm going to go in with the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless. I'm the shade Neutral Sand, or N30, 030. I really love this foundation, but I'm trying to like go through my stuff and use it up in the order I opened it. Next one was set up my seed growing shelf. I did actually do that, and it went really well. I had so many things, but I started growing stuff before I knew that I was going to be doing the gluten challenge. So most of my stuff was not maintained well and died outside because I couldn't take care of it, which is a shame. It was fun. I think I'm going to do flowers only this year. I don't know that I'm going to do vegetables for the same reason I explained about the garden. I don't want to overtax myself when I truly don't know how the weather is going to be, and I am not fully healed. They did say it could take like 1 to 2 years to fully heal from that challenge, so I feel like I'm pretty good for only being about 5 1/4 months out from that. But, you know, like I said, I don't want to push it. Buy flowers more often. I have been doing that a lot. I've bought flowers countless times this year. If you are looking to get into flowers, like check your local grocery store, especially if you have a version of Kroger. It doesn't have to be Kroger. It can be whatever your regional version of Kroger is. But they have such cheap clearance flowers all the time. Like I can get a dozen roses for like $4, sometimes even cheaper. After Valentine's Day, I got a dozen roses for $2.49, and they were still great and they last a really long time. Maybe paint the guest room. Guest room. We don't have a guest room. Haven't done that because gluten, but also I still had not decided on a color. I thought I had decided on a color, and then I changed my mind. I have officially decided on a color, and I would like to do that before the spring if I can. Now we're moving on to like self goals. I need to stop blabbing. I always do this. I finish my makeup like way before, I finished my makeup way before I like get through this list. Add retinol back into my skincare. I did, and then I had to stop because the anemia at that time was just fairly brutal, and my skin was so dry. And then my skin got mega super dry with the gluten challenge, so it was just kind of a bust overall. I'm gonna go in with bronzer next. I'm gonna use NARS Laguna. Perfect my morning and night routine. Mostly, I think I have done this. I don't know where I'm gonna go with that. I would say, yeah, I have figured out exactly what I want to do before bed and like what I do when I first wake up. And it has been working pretty successfully. Like, I have days, of course, when my illnesses are not cooperating and I can't stick to it. But yeah, I was successful there. Paint nails weekly. I've been doing once a week at minimum. Sometimes I'm doing twice a week. I've been super successful with that. Do makeup most days? No. I have definitely been doing it more. Like I said, I lost so much of my time this year that there were days I was barely able to shower, let alone put makeup on, because I was just on the couch, sick, or in the bathroom, sick. So makeup was kind of the last thing on my mind during those times. I'm not gonna do like too much on my forehead because it's covered with bangs now. No bye. Yeah, like we already went over that in its own video. Maybe I should look this up on my phone so I have my iPad here to read this stuff, but like I had to keep bending over to see it. So pick back up my cross stitch. Literally no. And I don't know if I ever will. Honestly, like I don't know where I am. We'll see. Like once I catch up on other things in life that I missed out on from the anemia, perhaps. Read at least 24 books. Yes, I read 44, I think. Daily walk. I would say I was like half successful with this. Like the gluten really like fucked me up. But half success. Meal prep was very successful until, you're gonna get tired of hearing this, until the gluten challenge. And since then it has been hard because my digestion has been so messed up that it's been difficult to actually eat 3 meals a day. So like it's still a mindset that I think will be easy to get back into once I can eat normally. Declutter my wardrobe. Yeah, I did that. I kind of have a thing right now where I have a group of items that I'm not sure about and I wanted to see if I actually wore this year or not before I like fully committed to getting rid of them. I'm gonna do my brows, I think. Usuals, Gimme Brow, shade 3, brow setter. Less screen time. Yeah, I've been successful with that and happy about it. And the final thing in self was scrapbooking. It is something that I thought about consciously and still want to do. It just didn't work out because of the things that came up this year. And the last section was like work related things. So like YouTube, like social media stuff. First one is put more time and effort into Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. I definitely did that with Instagram. And I started out with TikTok, although I kind of stopped once I heard about the ban. Because I was like, do I want to put this much effort into something that's just gonna be gone soon? I know we're kind of in limbo, and whether it gets banned or not will depend on like where I go with that. Instagram I've done really well with. Pinterest I completely forgot about that being on my list, so nope. That was a fail. Work on my photography. I have absolutely been doing that, at least with makeup photos. If you follow me on Instagram, all of my photos now are done with an actual camera and not my phone camera. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. Unless, of course, I know some of you don't have Instagram. But if you do have Instagram, you should follow me over there. I'm in my stories a lot. Improve thumbnails. I guess I've kind of done that. Like, really what I decided is I like my thumbnails. I don't like the trendy thumbnails, so I don't want to get into that. But I've kind of created a signature thumbnail and stuck to that, and I'm happy with that. And the last one was keep growing my channel. I have done that. I probably could have grown it more if I wasn't as absent as I was. Oh. I'm going in with my eyes down. We're going to use Mercury Retrograde by Huda Beauty. I don't even know if they make that anymore. I know she's like discontinuing or not making eyeshadows anymore. I don't know if that means she's not making any of them anymore or just no new ones. Yeah, had I been able to put more time into YouTube this year, I think I could have done better, but life happens. Now let's move on to this year's goals. Starting with home, there's going to be some repeats here. Oh, I'm priming with my usual Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden. The repeat here is Stain the Porch. It really needs to be done. I have the products, so like if I get a chance weather-wise and I feel well enough to get it done, I will be doing that. And on that same note, like I mentioned, paint the guest bathroom. It's like the one place we haven't done anything to, and it really, since we redid everything else like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, it's kind of just more glaringly obvious that nothing has been done, and it's just bothering me. And organize, oh wait, I know I have one more. Organize the closet. Like I mentioned all of the reasons I need to do that. I don't want to go purpley. I'll list the colors I'm using because I don't want to keep listing this or lifting this up. And the last one in home, because I didn't know where else to put it, was Master Gluten-Free Bread. I used to love baking bread and breadsticks and rolls and all of that stuff, so it has kind of sucked not being able to do that, but I finally feel like I'm in a place where I want to experiment with that. People say it's cheaper in the long run, so we'll see. Moving on to self goals. Pretty sure the first one is the first one is continue to limit screen time. I would like to limit my screen time even more. Like I try not to scroll too much unless I'm like looking for content ideas and things of that nature, just because it's a bit of a waste of time. Like I love to get on and support my friends and like posts and that kind of stuff, but I don't want to spend hours just scrolling because I could be doing something else. I do like to look at other content just because sometimes I can spark an idea. Like someone will say or do something and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of this thing that I could do related to whatever content I'm making. So I try to limit my scrolling, but I would like to, even more than that, give myself specific like time limits. Like you only get an hour on here. I don't know if Android has that feature. I know that I think Apple does. I don't know why Android wouldn't. I've just never looked at it, where it like tells you you've spent X amount of time, like don't spend any more time. I would really like to limit some of my apps because it's easy occasionally to just get sucked down a rabbit hole and then you realize it's been 3 hours, and I don't want to do that. The next goal is to read 52 books. I read 44 this year, and it's because I started kind of late with my night routine. Like we mentioned, perfect my night routine. Well, part of my night routine is reading to wind down every night, even if it's just a couple paragraphs. Had I started at the beginning of the year doing that, I easily could finish 1 book a week. So my goal is 1 book a week. And then the goal after that, I'm pretty sure, yes, is to try more genres of books. I love thrillers and horror books, but PSA, get a library card and borrow books. You don't need to buy books all the time. That's what I do, but there's often really long wait lists for a lot of those books. So I would like to try more genres, give them a chance, see how I feel. Maybe I don't like them and I never try another one, but I should give some other genres a try. So that is one of the things I want to do this year as well. Now I'm trying to balance it and not finish my list faster than I finish my makeup. Okay, I am not quite sure where I am with religion. You know, I'm not particularly a religious person. I'm spiritual, but not particularly religious. But I would really like to spend some time understanding the Jewish religion and the Torah. I am ethnically and culturally Jewish, but I was not raised religiously Jewish. I was not raised religious anything. But I would like to do some learning to learn more about my culture and heritage more than I know. Just for customs wise, you know. It's just interesting to understand the things that your people believe or went through and all of that. I haven't used a Huda palette in a while, and these tones just work so well on my skin. True no buy for 6 months. So my next video is going to be my yearly no low buy, like be my shopping video. Like, why did I make that so complicated? So we'll get into more details in that video, but I would like to do like literally no purchases, not even replacements, for a minimum of 6 months this year. They don't have to be like 6 months in a row, just 6 of the 12 months. I would like to not purchase anything beauty related. That means hair, skincare, makeup, none of it. Not really a particular reason, just kind of like, I don't know, a fun little goal. I kind of wish I had a darker color to like take this a bit deeper. Oh, Mario Mattes. I was like, I don't have one over here. I do have one over here that has black in it. I have plenty of stuff, tons of stuff that I think that it is completely possible to do that. There's no particular reason except that I want to. And it's not even that, like I mentioned in my other videos, I don't want these things to be a restriction that causes like a slingshot effect to where you, what's the word? Restrict so hard that like then you binge. And I don't think I will do that because we'll get into it in that video, but my mindset regarding shopping is just so different compared to what it was that I am not worried about the slingshot effect, but I am still conscious of it. But I just think this is a nice little challenge for me, I suppose. Going in with NYX glitter glue to do a shimmer. Maybe I should figure out what shimmer. Next one, work on stability, like my joint stability specifically. So I am hypermobile for whatever reason. I don't know if I have like a specific thing or I'm just hypermobile. I don't know. I don't really care, to be frank. When I fell a few months ago, did I talk about that on here? I don't know. I fell and I bashed my leg, and that is another thing that like messed up my daily walks. Is like I could not walk because I messed up my ankle and my shin on one leg, and then I messed up like my toes on the other leg. So it was a big old headache. It was because my ankle just like gave out. Things like that happen all the time, and I'm just kind of over it. I really just want to work on stabilizing my joint. And now that my body is not eating my muscle because I'm following a celiac diet, I think I could be successful. These are things that I tried in the past, and it's like my body won't hold on to anything. Well, now I know why. I'm going to go over with the dark purple and the black in the outer corner. So I really want to work on stabilizing my joint, especially as I'm aging. You know, I don't want to age into a fall risk. If I can do some simple things now to stem that off. I found actually a physical therapist. She does courses online I can pay for, but she also has some free content on YouTube. What's the next thing? Scrapbooking my year. So I had said back into scrapbooking last year, but I don't know, because I'm not going to go watch that video because I'm lazy, exactly like what details I gave as to like what exactly I want to do. I miss when people used to have photo albums and like you'd see their trip or their Christmas photos or any of that stuff. And I miss being able to just like look back at a year because we take so many pictures. I have been working on deleting useless pictures, but like I'll have so many screenshots in my phone of like stuff I don't even remember why I screenshotted it. Tons of pictures of like, I don't know, something I saw at the store or something that at the moment I forgot or thought was funny, and then I completely forgot, like, why do I have this picture of that? But I get lazy and not delete it, and then I'd go to back up my photos and I'd have way too many. I'm trying to prevent that now. I kind of want to have a greatest hits of my year in a place that I can look back and enjoy it. So I would like to take 2-page spreads and like scrapbook favorite moments and favorite photos from the year. And I want to go back through old photos and do this too, where, you know, I just make a collage of the year and like little time capsules, because life moves so fast and so much happens that you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I did that. And I don't know. It's just something that I want to do. Cozy hobbies. So obviously I'm still disabled and have lots of limitations, but I have copies. That's what we're going to call them. I have copies that fit into my limitations. Coloring, games on my Switch. Cross stitch could be one of them. Urban Decay Quickie in 20NN. I haven't been able to do them in so long because I quite literally was sleeping my life away like Sleeping Beauty. No jokes. Guess what? We're just blending the fallout right into the concealer because I already put the concealer on. Now that I'm back to my base disability and we're not extra disabled, I would like to get back into those cozy hobbies. So that's something, especially now that I'm spending less, or now that I will be spending less screen time, I have some energy to color or play a video game instead of spending that energy on my phone. Next thing, journaling. I guess this could also be a cozy hobby depending how you look at it. This is something I try to do every year, I think. I don't know how many, it wasn't in my last year's video. I don't see it on my list, but I regularly want to attempt journaling and just fail miserably. So this is probably not gonna be successful, but like I'm just gonna keep trying because I actually like doing it, but also not gonna punish myself. There was actually a time back in like 2013, I still have it, where I would just write like a sentence, like what I did for the day. I would just make it really easy, and it's fun for me to like go back and read that because I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember this. So even if it's just that, even if it's just me writing a sentence for what I did for the day, like I want to do that. I would also, or this could be my thing rather than necessarily what I did for the day, just like gratitude, just something from the day that I am like grateful for. So I don't know how that'll work, how successful I'll be, but it's something I would like to try. More intentional photos. This kind of goes along with the scrapbooking and like photo albums, is I don't think people take intentional photos unless they're doing something like kind of braggable. You know, they always say people only post online the things they want you to see, which is fine. I'm not shading that. I'm going to do a little liner with the Victoria Beckham Satin Cajal in Fig, which is a purple. That's the wrong side. So it is kind of, I'm not denying that I do this too, right? I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I do it. Everyone does it. But I don't think people take intentional photos of just like their everyday life where they're like, let's just, or maybe they do and they just don't post it. I guess that's what I should say. Let's just take a photo. We're not doing anything special. We're just living, because life is exciting, you know? When I look at gap in photos, like, man, I don't have a photo like all year of or with people, or, you know. I'm just yapping and I don't even know if I was making a point. I want to like take intentional photos and like think about it, like romanticize my life basically in a way that like I don't have gaps. Like when I'm looking back on stuff, there's not a big old gap of time where it's just like, oh, I forgot to take photos. So I want intentional photos, staged photos, like family photos. You know, there are some people who like pay for family photos or something. Like, I understand photography. I can do my own family photos. I have tripod and timer and all that stuff. I don't need to pay someone to do that, but like I should be doing more intentional photos because I've already missed that for so many years. So that's important to me. Now let's talk about work. I have some personal work goals that I just don't talk about because, you know, they say like talk about things you did, not things you're doing, because not everyone will like wish the best for you, and like evil eye, I believe in that kind of stuff. So this one is personal, professional, all sorts of stuff. I need to get better at planning. Like I just do. I think I'm going to use this shade for my inner corner. I sat yesterday and planned out tentatively. Obviously things come up and I might have to change off the January and February video ideas. And I wrote some of those scripts. I need to get better at planning so I can film in advance and all of that stuff. Life is so much easier when it's planned out and I'm not like trying to figure out 2 minutes before I film what script I'm going to use. Using the Lash primer, the Voluminous primer from L'Oreal Paris. More collab. This is either like the video I did with my friend Hirsa or even open collabs, which I mostly do on Instagram. Another plug for my Instagram. I have a friend who does one every February. I have a makeup mutual who does one every September. I would like to join more open collab things. I would love to do some more personal collabs. Collabs are something I would like to do. Especially like those open collabs. They really help me think of makeup looks I might not have thought of on my own. So, you know, there's a prompt that you follow and sometimes it helps me think of color combinations I wouldn't have necessarily thought of without the prompt. Photography course. So that is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I found a course. And now that I'm actually into photography for my makeup and I want to get into intentional photos, I think it's time to do photography classes. Ideally, I would like to take more than one this year, but even if I just get the beginner's course done, that would be good for me. Like, I know a fair bit. I've taken some very intro beginner classes in the past. I've read some books, I've read some blogs, I've watched some YouTube videos, but I would really like to take actual classes. This Danessa Dancing Queen. So taking this course, I'm excited to just learn more and then move on to a more advanced course to really learn about just throwing that, to really learn about lighting, and I think I'm going to layer that NudeStix over this to deepen it. This is much bolder than I anticipated. I really, really love photography. I've loved photography since I was a kid. I've gone through so many cameras. I used to take disposable cameras to school. a couple times a year for photos of me and my friends, but like I got my first digital camera when I was a freshman in high school, and then I saved up all my babysitting money. I think it was junior year to get my first like nice camera, and then when I turned 21, I got my first really nice point and shoot, and then when I was 28, I got my first DSLR, and now I have this one. I love photography so much. So the class really excites me, and we more or less finished. I can't speak, I'm just making up words. We more or less finished around the same time, probably because I kept taking breaks. So let me know down below, like, if you have any goals, to-do list for yourself this year. Is there anything you're hoping to get done this year, even if that is just relax? You just want to relax this year. I totally understand. It's always like one of my longest videos ever. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And again, let me know down below, like, what is your to-do list for the year? Even if your to-do list is to rest. That's very important to do. I will see you guys in the next video.